Alright, so guys, I'm going to teach you guys how to do a simple lead, simple soloing techniques over a simple chord progression. So this one's on C. Alright, so the one thing that I always do when I'm trying to figure out a solo for a chord progression is first of all figure out what notes those chords have. So since we're starting on C, I already know that we have a C note, and then we can also use a third since this is a major note. If you play those three notes together, you make the C chord. So say I want to start a solo over that progression with the C, A minor, and it goes to F, and then G, A minor, G. I'm gonna want to start my solo probably on C, most likely because I'm playing a C chord. So let's start out with that. Let's kind of build our solo. The next chord on the progression is a A minor. So we can go to an A from that C. But also we need to take a look at all these notes that are in that A minor chord. So we have A, we also have a flatted third and a fifth. So what is this? It's a C. So where's the C? So we can do so we have an E. Right? Those are the notes that are in the A minor. So we can go from a C to either an A minor or an E to land on this A minor. Then after that, when we go to the F, we also have an F and the major third, which is an A, and a C. So we have an F, A, C that we can kind of mess around with. So if we want to build a solo, and we'll try to make it simple to begin with. We're starting out with C, and then we're going to land on an E, and then we want to land on an F. Then we're going to go from a G to A minor, back to the G. So we can do a G to A, and back to G. So far we have this. That's going to go over this. That's the A minor, and then here's the F. So now we have a C, we have an E, and then we have an F. Then it goes to G, A, G. So now I have the essential notes to build a solo with, but now what I have to figure out is creative ways to get from one note to the next note. So one of the things that I like to do is mess around with the major scale. So we know that the major scale on C goes like this. So if we're going from a C to an E, we know that the scale goes like this. So we can kind of play with those notes just to get to the E, sort of like this. Then we are going to land on an F. And then it goes from a G, G, A, G. So we can do something like this. Or we can kind of change it up and do something else. say we want to dress it up even more. Right? You can just keep adding stuff to it. Whoops. Those don't really sound that good, but this one kind of does. So there you go. You can build a solo by just knowing which chords you're gonna land on. So if you're going from a C, you already know that you're gonna go to an A minor. You just figure out which notes that A minor has. It has A, C, E. So you can go from the C to an E, C to an A, or stay on the C. Right? And after the A minor, you're gonna go on an F, figure out which notes the F has. You know, it has since it's a major chord, it's always gonna be a major, third, and the fifth. In this case, it would be the F, the A, and the C. So in this chord, in the progression, you would go from a C. We already talked about going to an E after that. Then all we have to do is go to an F, or an A, or a C. So in this case, it would be. And say we want to go to the F, or say we want to go to the C. Right? Or you can do the A. Doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong. The only thing that you have to remember is always play notes that are included in the chord, and as long as you find a creative way to get there, that's all that matters. And keep in mind, you know, the more creative you get, the better it'll be for you. The better you'll become at figuring out like really cool leads, stuff that's very melodic, stuff that sounds really good. You don't have to get all crazy and start soloing super fast. And as long as you play the notes right, that's all that matters. If you want to experiment with bending or sliding, you can slide to the note that you need to get to. So like in our example here, we're starting on C. I'm sliding to that E, but you don't have to. You can just land on there. And in this part, I bend to F. I just think it sounds cool. And see what I do there? I go from a G to an A, but right when I get to the A, I do a little slight bend just for the added effect. So I go, just because it sounds cool. I don't need to do it though, I can just do this. Or you can just pick everything. It's just gonna sound too staccato. So it's better to just kind of figure out which notes you want to slide to, figure out when you want to bend, experiment with it, and whatever sounds good to you is actually what's best. So here's a progression once again.